Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clyde with the Riddlesbrood Touring Theater Company with another private party tip. Now, today we're going to dig into the idea of interactivity. That's right. I know you've probably heard a lot about that. If you've called any different murder mystery companies and wanted to find out more, everybody's talking about that their show is interactive. So maybe you're wondering, what on earth does that really mean? So let's take a few moments to dig into that a little bit. Well, the first thing to understand is interactivity is probably one of the biggest things that differentiates murder mystery shows and even dinner theater shows from plays and other dramatic works that you might see in a community theater set. But not all interactivity is created equal. So interactivity, to make it very simple, is the difference between order and complete chaos. There's a continuum between those two polar opposite points. So if you think of the most orderly show, you might think of something like a movie, where you're just sitting and watching the movie. There's absolutely no interaction. All you can do is watch it and listen to it. You can't participate in it. Whereas maybe improv comedy sports might be the absolute extreme example, where people from the audience are getting up there and actually doing their own show, almost like karaoke. It's 100% interactive. So what are we talking about with a murder mystery? Well, the interactivity usually is somewhere in the middle. It's not completely orderly, like a full-blown show, but it's also not complete chaos either, which requires the audience to basically do everything. So here's the important thing. Some good things about interactivity are that the audience can feel like they're really part of the show. There's immersion there, and they feel like they're not just watching something, but they're experiencing something, and they're part of a shared experience that everybody loves and helps them bond together as a group. That's very important. The other thing is, everybody in the audience, at least a good portion of them, will get a chance to stand out in front of all their friends. Extroverts really love this. So people that love to be the center of attention will get their opportunity to shine. Also, participation is fun because it breaks up the monotony of a typical show. There's going to be more uncertainty. There's going to be more experimentation, and this is going to add to excitement and also a little bit of a fresh, unique experience that people can say, wow, I haven't really had anything like that before. But now let's talk about the not so good things that can come with interactivity. And some of them are people that are shy, or maybe a little they're just reserved. They're not really interested in doing that. They may be fearful that they're going to get picked. They don't want maybe to be the center of attention, and they're scared of that. So there are going to be some people that may not want that. The other thing is it does require the audience to be involved. They have to work a little bit. So unlike a movie where you can be half asleep and laying there, if you're at an interactive show, you really have to kind of be a part of it to get the full effect from it. Otherwise, it's just not going to ring the same. And herein lies some of the danger. If your particular crowd maybe isn't in the right mood for this, then they may not participate very much, and that may affect the success of your entire show. Now, this is part of the reason why, when you're deciding on what kind of murder mystery company to choose, to find out what they mean by interactive. Now, with the Riddlesbrood Touring Theater Company, we have what we call a guided interactive experience. Now, what that means is that we give a lot of times the illusion of a lot of interactivity, but it's passive. So it doesn't require the audience to memorize any lines. It doesn't require them to come up with a lot of content. It doesn't put people in a white-hot spotlight that's going to possibly embarrass them in front of their friends. Everything is rigged so that it's always going to be funny and pretty much always going to work. That's not always the case, especially some murder mystery companies that give people cards and say, you say this line when they mention their name. So those kind of things can be damaging. So you want to try to avoid those types of things whenever possible. The other thing is when you let it get too interactive, when people are going too crazy out in the audience, you always run the risk of people in the audience saying some rude and obnoxious things. Now this can sometimes be a problem. People can get upset with things like that. So be careful of the crazy hecklers that are going to take advantage of that. The other thing is, this is the most general thing, is it all depends upon your group. If you know that you have a gregarious group that's all going to have a great time, maybe have a couple drinks, then the more interactive, the better. They're going to have a great time. If maybe you're working with a senior audience or they've been spending the entire day in a meeting and they're kind of going to get tired and cranky, maybe you want something a little less interactive. And that's the beauty of the shows that we do, because our actors are all very professional and we can all gauge pretty well when we detect an audience is really getting into that type of thing. They're really audience participative, but they can also tell when people just want to back off and just want to relax. And in those cases, we switch gears and the show becomes more of a guided experience. Still fun, still comic, but doesn't rely so much upon the people to make the comedy work. We hope that this has been very helpful. If you can, take a look in the comments below and you'll see a blog that was written as well that'll answer a little more detailed questions if you happen to have any. Again, we are the Riddlesbrood Touring Theater Company and we hope to have your business soon. Thanks and have a great day.